this year, there was a boycott against a film, A Dog's Purpose, because a video had surfaced indicating that some of the dogs for the movie maybe weren't treated as humanely as they should have been treated. Now, the video was made public by TMZ. We do have it for you, and then I'm going to give you an update on an investigation looking into the treatment of these animals and give you the details on that. So take a look.
Well, he ain't gonna calm down until he goes in the water. Just gotta throw him in. Oh, oh, here he goes. Oh no. Okay, you get his feet wet. He learns it's not cold. Look, he wants to go in. Oh, he wants to get away. Just throw him in. Oh, here it goes. Oh, he's gonna end up going in with him. Here, boy. Oh, no!
It turns out that now there's been an investigation into the treatment of the animals on the set. It was done by the American Humane Association, and they're saying that video was edited in a very deceptive way. It was actually two separate clips that were put together to make it seem like it was the same situation, although I didn't think it was the same situation. I thought it was two separate clips that were put together into one video. Right. But maybe some people confused that. And nonetheless, people are saying, hey, you know, there wasn't any poor treatment of these dogs, so let's all move on. But I do have a twist to this story. Now, first, the investigation said the following. The Animal Welfare Organization stated that the disturbing leaked video first published by TMZ, which shows a German Shepherd forced into water before being submerged, quote, mischaracterized the events on set. American Humane believes that the handling of the dog in the first scene in the video should have been gentler and signs of stress recognized earlier. That being said, it is important to note that this was recognized and the scene did not proceed as insinuated by the misleadingly edited video. The video was deliberately edited for the purpose of misleading the public and stoking outrage. In fact, the two scenes shown in the edited video were filmed at different times. The first video scene was stopped after the dog showed signs of stress. The dog was not forced to swim in the water at any time. Prior to shooting, the scene safety meetings were held to go over and reinforce safety precautions and protocols. So they go on and on about how, no, we had people on set ensuring that these dogs were treated appropriately. We did an investigation. The dogs were treated appropriately. This was a sensationalized story, and it is what it is. Well, first, you guys chime in and tell me what you think, and I have some more details on this.
Well, the AHA is the organization that's been around for like 130 years, and its job has been over that time to make sure that they're the people who say that no animals were harmed in the making of this. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, when they first saw the story, ran to the corner of like, there has been animal cruelty, let's stop it now. Mm-hmm. And then in the aftermath, people are running over to the side of, there was no animal cruelty, how dare you mischaracterize the situation. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle, and the problem is the amount of faith that everybody seems to have in the AHA, given things I don't know if you're going to mention, yes. that it's had in the past that have been kind of sketchy, super sketchy. So when you see at the end of the film, no animals were harmed in the making of this movie, it's not 100% accurate.
Well, does that mean like no stress to the animals or just no physical harm?
So, for example, in The Life of Pi.
Yeah, so you can give that example. I don't have that in the graphics, but I do have various examples to give you anyway.
So in The Life of Pi, there was a representative from the AHA. The Life of Pi is a movie about a guy who's stuck with animal, especially a tiger, on a boat in the middle of the ocean. And so what ends up happening is a lot of those scenes are done CGI. Some of them are done with an actual tiger named King. And there's an AHA person on set supposed to monitor all this stuff, who was incidentally, allegedly sleeping with one of the producers, so there was a little, cloudying of the waters. An email was intercepted after one take that said this one take with him just went really bad, him being the tiger named King. And he got lost trying to swim to the side, damn near drowned. Don't mention it to anyone, especially the office. I have downplayed the fuck out of it. And so you have these times when the AHA is kind of on the inside, and they're the ones who are saying, stamping, this is okay to do, and no animals were harmed.
Yeah, so there is an issue involving conflict of interest. There could be issues with the way the American Humane Association is funded and its close ties to these production companies. And so it's not a completely unbiased source of figuring out whether or not the animals are treated appropriately on set. Now, you gave an example that seems extreme, but The Hollywood Reporter actually did this insane expose of that highlighted several cases of animals that were mistreated on set. In some cases, animals that died on set or died during the production of these films, I should be absolutely clear. And the AHA gave those films the stamp of approval, the no animals were harmed during the making of this film. So let me give you some more examples. Let's go to graphic 15. This is according to the investigative report that The Hollywood Reporter did. The AHA has awarded its no animals were harmed credit to films and TV shows on which animals were injured during production. It justifies this on the grounds that the animals weren't intentionally harmed or the incidents occurred while cameras weren't rolling. So to give you some specific examples, during the filming of another blockbuster, Peter Jackson's The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, 27 animals reportedly perished, including sheep and goats, that died from dehydration and exhaustion or from drowning in water-filled gullies during a hiatus in filming at an unmonitored New Zealand farm where they were being housed and trained. So the AHA official then told animal trainer John Smith, who was making a big deal about this to his credit, that because the deaths had taken place during the hiatus, the AHA had no jurisdiction. The AHA eventually bestowed a carefully worded credit that noted it, quote, monitored all of the significant animal action. No animals were harmed during such action. So they were really careful with their wording there. But before they had given that excuse of, oh, it's not in our jurisdiction, they had told the animal trainer, oh, well, I mean, it's really hard to provide evidence that these animals died, so we're just going to leave it alone. And he's like, no, you don't get it. I buried those animals myself so I can provide evidence. Right. And that was when they moved on to the other excuse of, well, it's not in our jurisdiction.
They asked some of the other sheep, the surviving sheep, if anything happened, but they were like, nah.
Brett.
I'm trying to provide a little levity.
I know. It was
to this
funny.
Otherwise very serious situation.
Yeah. But I have more examples for you guys. A husky dog was punched repeatedly in its diaphragm on Disney's 2006 Antarctic sledding movie, 8 Below, starring Paul Walker, and a chipmunk was fatally squashed in Paramount's 2006 Matthew McConaughey, Sarah Jessica Parker romantic comedy Failure to Launch. Okay. So there have been various examples of animals that, again, have either been severely injured or have been mistreated or in some cases have died, and the AHA either refused to fully investigate it or still gave the movie its stamp of approval. And so look, why am I giving you all of this context and this information? It's not to say that for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, the dogs in this case, A Dog's Purpose, were mistreated. We don't know, right? Because we didn't do the investigation. All we have is a clearly edited video. But you should know that the safeguards that we have in place for these animals on set have honestly been corrupted and have various interests at play behind the scenes that could influence their decisions. So we should obviously maybe take some action against this and really have an independent body taking a look at the treatment of these animals on set. And besides which, I just think it's weird to put animals in this position for our entertainment.
Yes.
Right?
I feel so disillusioned now. I didn't know any of this before you two told me that. When you read no animal was harmed, you implicitly understand that to mean no animal was harmed, not just legalese jumping through loopholes to avoid any kind of liability for an animal's death that is probably related some way, at least tertiary, to the production.
Right. You're investigating yourself in a way because the funding comes from like the actors unions and the producers union and certain producers bodies. And so they want to get that money and they want to get it worked out. And what's so frustrating is that the company itself doesn't just say when something like what happened on The Life of Pi happened, just tell what went down and say, yes, there seem to be some ethics problems within our company. where this person obviously, according to them, downplayed the fuck out of it
Yes.
to get away from something. And the idea that if it was just an accident, if it wasn't the result of negligence, you can then say, literally, no animals were harmed in the making of this film. That's not what people expect your label to mean. They're like, oh my God, there was a stampede of buffalo, and I want to know if all the buffalo made it. And just because you couldn't have calculated that a buffalo would get stampeded and die, and one did, you just say, well, it wasn't our fault, so we're going to say that no animals were harmed?
I
Right.
mean, I don't want to support financially some movie that caused, for example, a buffalo to get stampeded to death. It's dishonest.
Yeah,
It's-
that's absolutely right. And so, look, the transparency is important because we as consumers support things and prop things up with our money. And so if we don't have the full information of what happens on set with these animals, then we can't really exercise our voice, our political voice, either in opposition or in support of various movies.
You know who's going to stop Trump, stop the establishment, stop the corruption? You are. You help us hire new investigative reporters, and we will unleash it on them. tytnetwork.com/go. Let's build the best journalism team in America.